Hello, this is Joe. It's June 15th in the afternoon, and I've spent today just messing around doing things with the electric and cleaning up the joint upstairs. And it occurred to me I hadn't given you guys a video tour in a while. The big news, in case you haven't read the blog, is I got all the windows in place, and they're glorious. An interesting thing, they all have that e-glass coating. And it's noticeable that they filter out the UV light, and the light that they let in summer is still muted compared to what the regular windows are. Can't have everything, and I'd rather have something that's energy efficient. I had this thing of putting them in from the outside, from the inside. They still need trim. Now, one of the things here is you can level certain things, but other things aren't level. That board that it's resting on, that is perfectly level. You want this sideboard to be plumb at a 90-degree angle, and according to geometry, that's level. And these two, you notice the cladding and the board are next to each other. But the further you go up, the larger the gap. And that's a measure of how far off of plumb that window is. Now, if I go over here, you can see that I don't have anything resting on the window itself. The window is sitting on the ledge that it's on, but it's not really doing this. Now, on the other side, we see that it's narrower at the top, and it gets wider. The gap gets wider at the bottom. Ultimately, we'll get one of those cans of spray foam and fill that in, but we'll wait until after we get the big foaming to happen. Something else that's happening in this room is there's a couple of spots where the joists are about 36 inches on center, and I'm going to have to throw I'm going to have to throw a couple studs in between that, so there's more of a nailing surface for when we ultimately put the sheetrock on. Now, in the rooms, you'll see I got these little metal things on there. Those are stud protectors because one of the activities of the last few days has been we drill a hole through every stud to run the wire through. The wire has to be far enough into the stud so that it won't be hit by a random nail, but they recommend putting these metal things over the spot just instead. So you see I've got a lot of those around. This is the sloping bedroom. This one here is the one that is the smallest of the three bedrooms. And the interesting thing here has been, if you look here in this gap, you can see that there is this tin piece that kind of goes up that way. And that's the place where the gables meet. So strictly speaking, on that side of the tin piece, I do need foam. But then as we get to the other parts here, I won't need foam. Because those will be the interior walls, and likewise this wall here, which connects to the secret room, is an interior wall, and that won't need foaming. I did decide I want to try keeping two of the doors up here, maybe even three doors, but I haven't really figured that out, and I don't have to worry about it. The other piece that's going on here is those blue things are the outlet boxes. And when I first got this, we realized there was no outlets here whatsoever. And we're going to try to follow the 612 rule, an outlet from within 6 feet of each corner and no more than 12 feet between any two given outlets. So that means, for example, it's half a dozen outlets in this room. And then if we want to remain code, then we have more here. Now we're going into the big room. I like to try to keep the mess down, and that's been actually good because kicking up less dust. This partition here to the stairwell is interior. That's going to stay. Looking at the double window, this is the one, I wrote a lot about this in the blog the last few days because the issue is how to get this thing up there when it weighs hundreds of pounds. And it took me 5 hours of work to get it together, amply described in excruciating detail in the blog, the steps of getting it to go. But once it's there, I mean, this is going to be a favorite place to just sit in the house and look out the window. It's not that it's all that exciting, but that's it. Now I have piled up here, I've got some of the boards that were the trim around the doors and stuff that made it through okay without too many blemishes. Banged the nails out and I kept those. That might not look like too much, but that's probably $100, $150 worth of wood right there. Price of wood's gone up. And we're going to use that on either the outside trim or find something else to do with it. Something else is I cleaned up all the little crap that was on these boards on the ceiling to make it look nicer. And this included pulling out all the nails that the beaver board was in. And it may not look cleaner to you, but it is cleaner. Then we've got the other two windows here and the protectors. There's like, you have to go around the corners on these. And drilling the holes so that they meet at a right angle in the corner is going to take some time. So those are the only ones I have left to do on the second floor are the corner boards. And then we've got these two here. Now, I'll also look out the window. I had all this scrap. There was a lot more of it, but I got a sign out there that said free wood and put a Facebook ad up. People came and took a bunch of it, like I wanted them to. I didn't like the idea of just tossing that away. People here burn wood for heat, and that's softwood. That's not going to be fuel. You might just get a quick fire out of that. And like if you were at a camp in summer, that'd be enough to warm you up a little bit. But you need hardwood overnight to provide any heat of any kind. And so basically, that's the door to the secret room. I got most of the holes drilled there as well. The next thing to do after this is going to be finish the holes. Then we run the wire through the walls and we put up the outlets where they're going to go. And that's what we're going to be doing. So that's kind of the thing. One last thing here is I have the closet at the top of the door where the hobbit entrance was. I still have scrap wood in there that I'm just heaving. I'm going to have to clean that out because I still am producing some scrap wood as part of this process. But much less than before. The other thing that's noticeable up here is in the afternoons it gets hot because there's nothing to prevent the heat from getting through the metal roof and the stuff, just like the attic of any wooden house that doesn't have insulation in it. That will be noticeably improved in the future, although I'm not going to have a cathedral ceiling in here. I'm still going to have a horizontal ceiling, but basically, so it's a little harder to work in the afternoon. And for the first time, I've actually had a sweat today just getting around and doing stuff. But basically, that's the story on the second floor. Catch you later. Bye.